Right, and we're live.
Lovely start.
Yes.
All right. So, have you had much experience with this matchup?
A little bit. I did the usual testing of unit against unit, and then I asked if someone was available to train, and Mukluk was available. So I had a
What
couple
a
of
boy.
fun matches against him. I think we had
He's a
five.
top lad like that.
He's also very fun to talk with, very cheery, very cool dude. I think we
Mm.
played 5 matches and I was able to beat 3-1. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice stuff.
yes.
So I think here, for the most part, I have a build. I think.
Okay, me too.
Um. Yeah, it's an interesting build. That's what I'm gonna say. You can probably put that. Hmm. So, what have you found out before we get into it?
Oh, yeah.
What is? Hmm?
Um, yeah, what I mostly notice is that in a way it's kind of similar to Tomb Kings, where the Minotaurs with great weapons do really well, actually better in this matchup even.
Right.
Um, but I have kind of the same problem as with Tomb King, only instead of Tomb Guards with Halberdiers, it's what they call Man-Eaters with great weapons.
Okay.
Those seem very cost-effective counter.
Interesting. I brought some different things to the battle today,
Yeah.
as you know me very well.
Yeah. So it's like I look at what seems to be like a normal build for Ogre Kingdoms, and then we fight, and it's totally different. But I also.
Yeah, yeah. I'll certainly bring some spanners, that's for sure. But it's good to like I think as well have something slightly different thrown in because
Yeah.
you kind of want to be able to build a build that will deal with most of the stuff that can be
Yeah.
thrown at you.
Exactly.
I think the Minotaurs are the changes to the Minotaurs really going to change this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's very interesting. You've gone really elite, so I'm expecting a lot of Minotaurs,
Yep.
which no, I don't know how that's going to go for you. I think that could go well. I think that could also go
Mm-hmm.
relatively poorly. Um,
We shall see.
yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I'm interested to see because obviously, I have my opinions of. I've never actually played this matchup, so I really wouldn't know. But I have an idea of what I think would do well here.
Okay.
Belt shooters.
Actually. All right. Ready when you are.
Yeah, I can imagine. So looking at your build, I'm imagining a few things. So I'm imagining that you're going to be having quite a few Minotaurs and maybe some cavalry of some description.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's roughly what I expected, I think.
Cool.
That's some lovely damage there. Ah, Traitorkin. GG's,
Interesting.
man.
Yeah, GG.
Yes, it's
A lot of Saber Tusk. Was not expecting those.
yeah, Saber Tusk's really powerful, very very strong for their price pool. The only down part to them, which of course is always interesting, is their rampage.
Yeah.
But ideally, if they rampage against what you want them to chase against, anyway, it doesn't really particularly matter. And for the gold you pay for them, I just don't care. Like they do what I want them to do, and they keep your bits that are busy away.
Oh.
Let's just send that in. There we go. Yeah, so I'm sure that's probably not the build that you were expecting.
Nope.
there's certainly lots of your build that does really, really well. That I like quite a bit. I think Trojan on the Brave Shaman was really good. Probably should chase them with some more of the saber tusks than I did. The biggest problem you present in this matchup is, I guess to an extent, like models and hit point. So you're gonna have lots of hit points for your Minotaurs, but if you start losing models, your damage
Yeah.
output is gonna get quite low pretty quickly,
Mhm.
and that's what happened. You slammed really hard on the front door, nice and quickly. But some of the biggest problems you have is that Ogre Balls are really cost efficient for 500 gold. They have enough weapon strength that they just will challenge Minotaurs, because Minotaurs do not have much armor. They have no real
Mhm.
durability. Butcher's a Captain Guard, obviously 900 value, got more kills. They were far much more sustainable than the Minotaur great weapons. I think this comes down to the old fashioned. You just don't have enough units. So let's have a
Mhm.
look at this. Um,
I also expected stuff to die quicker. Actually, I mean.
the thing is, as quickly as you were killing me, I was also killing you.
Hmm.
So for example, if we just look at the build, right? So if we go Ogre Kingdoms, so I've got 90 weapon strength on my Ogre Balls, which
Mhm.
good amount. So 31% armor piercing, or 31 armor piercing, I should say, per unit. Compared to your guys, which are 110 weapon strength, but you have what, 16 models?
Yeah.
Yep, and I have 24 models. So more of
Mhm.
my models will be doing more damage. Um, and then actually we're going to be working on the same armor rate. So 29 on 27, and then you're going to be paying for 34 on 32, where you pay for anti-large and a lot of armor piercing.
Hmm.
Um, so mine are cheaper. I've got more than you, so you actually have to grind through a hell of a lot. So Ogre
Hmm.
Balls actually just a real good natural counter to the Minotaurs, rather than the other way around, which you would expect them to be.
Yeah. That's.
Um,
Yeah, in big numbers.
yes.
Hmm.
So I'm going to certainly be going down, and the way to beat Ogre Kingdoms is the good old-fashioned cheap and cheerful. It's not always everybody's favorite strategy, but it certainly
Mhm.
is a way to win. I think having Slaughter's Call of Brass Body on Torox is a must in this matchup. I really like the Traitor Kim
Mhm.
Chorister. I think that's really good. I'd be even tempted just to go Traitor Kim. Now, there's one interesting thing here: is why did you bring the Chariot?
Oh. Yeah. Just so he's quick.
Yeah, I think you could probably go without the Chariot and save yourself some good money.
Hmm.
I would literally go the castle with just Traitor Kim.
Not even the passive.
If you're only bringing Traitor King, you're not going to cast it enough really to get any use
Yeah.
out of your little passive, I
That's
think.
true. That's true.
If you had like Dissolve and Brace Scream and you use those constantly, I could see there being a use for having like Bestial Surge.
Mhm.
Um, yes, it's 9% vigor per cast, but you'd be lucky if you saw that more than 4 times in a game. I mean,
Yeah.
it certainly could be useful. I mean, you can certainly justify it. If you have 100 gold, feel free, but I think we might struggle. So I think
Mhm.
something you're definitely going to be wanting to do. Um, Ungol Spearheads, I think. Yeah, certainly you definitely want Ungol Spearheads. Like, they're so cheap. Bonus versus large. They don't need much armor piercing either, because they're going to be fighting up against most of my front line.
Yeah.
And most of my front line is just going to be lightly armored and large, which is exactly what they want to fight. They're going to have more numbers. They're going to overwhelm my front line. You can even take the Destroyers of Drakwold as well.
Yeah.
It's also going to bring Poison, which is the main attribute for the Ogre Kingdoms, which is weapon strength. So,
Mhm.
they're going to nerf that with a lot of armor piercing with the Destroyers. So I think that's a good start. One thing I was really surprised you didn't take was just cheap archers, Ungol Raiders. Most of my build does not have any armor. Even just taking 1 or 2 would have been really nice, just to poke and stroke. I think that would have been really good. Just even just 2 of those in the pocket there somewhere, maybe even 3. Um, and then I think having some Minotaurs on top. Because the other thing as well, right, is Do you know why I use Noblars and my Ogre Balls? Do you know why I use them together?
Yeah, it's kind of like we did in the beginning with. Oh no, that was with Ducky with Ungors on top of the Minotaurs to soak damage.
Yeah, so that's kind of the same approach you're going to want here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you can dissipate your numbers and the damage across your Ungor Spearheads,
Mm-hmm.
and then fight over the top with Minotaurs, I think that's going to be fantastic. I think you could easily go double Minotaur Great Weapons, maybe even a Butcher or Calcan Guard if you want, and then you've still got 2.5k left to spend wherever you decide.
Mm-hmm.
Gorok's Man Rippers, if you really wanted, I think it'd be good. The only issue with these ones is they do pay a lot for armor piercing. They have good armor stats though. They do have good armor stats, that's for sure. Anything else here that could be considered, pretty useful? We're definitely gonna want something to shut down any guns I may have. So maybe having
Yeah.
having a harpy or two wouldn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there's not really too much you can bring. So you could go probably Gorok's Man Rippers. No, I think I'd rather have cavalry, just some cavalry on the side to protect jungle raiders, maybe. I think would be better.
Yeah. They didn't really seem to do all that much.
Your Centaurs will beat my guys for sure. It's tough because I think 4 Centaurs would overrun me. I think the throwing axes are really good, but I think most of your armor piercing is coming from the Minotaurs.
Yeah, because those are kind of good in this matchup. The throwing axes aren't really that needed. I can see that. Yeah.
Here we've got 150 gold left. It's a bit of an awkward number. What if we did this instead? You could do this if you wanted to. If you wanted to bring the Blackhorn Ravengers. They're pretty good stat line wise. I mean, you don't have to. You've run out of cheap Ungors you can bring. You could go 3 cav here. You could go 3 cav. I don't hate this.
What did you drop for that? Oh, you switched Rekijan for Renowned Spearman.
Yeah, I think I chained them out and then brought in some more Centaurs. And I dropped some Ungor Raiders. I think just having 2 would be fine. And then you can use your 3 cav to kind of protect them. Brave Shaman, he's only got 1 spell. Just use it as much as you can. He's really, really cheap. And he'll pay for himself comfortably without those Winds of Magic. I think I prefer this build considerably more, I think. But
it's always when I look at these white builds for Beastmen, I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of Ungor. They break so fast, and then I have nothing left instead. But let's see how it works out in practice.
yeah, so I think you definitely want your Ungor Spearheads taking the charge and fighting up against the Noblars, and then you want the Minotaurs over the top.
Yeah.
Your Centaurs also left the pack, right? So your Centaurs were just running away. I just had cheap units chasing them away.
Yeah, I noticed that too late. Yeah.
And then dealing with them pretty comfortably. Harpies were a little bit annoying. It forced me to have to change my build a little bit. I think if you have... So your Minotaur Great Weapons are the ones that need to focus down the big targets with Taurox. And then the rest of the build needs to be dealt with Ungor Raiders, Ungor Spearheads, Harpies, and your Centaurs.
Yeah.
And then everything else large is Minos and Taurox. I think that's the way to play it. And then I've just put a chevron on the minus or great weapons.
Just noticed that, yes. Right.
Alrighty. I think this wider build certainly gives you more options. You haven't really lost too much in value from your Minotaurs. It's just going to be more towards putting pressure to my main force through the Ungol Spearmen.
Yeah.
Because I have no cost-efficient, cheap way to deal with them. And if they're backed up by monstrous infantry, I'm really going to struggle. Plus, also you have tools that can punish my front line with your spells, etc.
Cloven ones! Fagudot!
Yeah, something I also didn't consider is that Ogre Kingdoms is always gonna take a lot of Noblars. So having that those extra Ingor Spearmen means they get tied up with those instead of the expensive stuff.
But the nice thing also about the about the Noblars as well is a lot of your troops, that don't have perfect vigor that you are bringing to the battlefield, they're going to be expending vigor to deplete them.
Yeah.
Which means, my monstrous infantry can, focus on fighting what it needs to fight. I'm basically paying 200 gold per unit to take vigor off really important elements of your build.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Oh. That's not where I thought you would be. Oh crap. I forgot I had my centaurs to protect the raiders, not charge into you.
Yeah.
Dark beasts! No! Ogres! Smash! Quipsic! Circle and buff! Pass! Action! Cross! Quinn up! Sweet chaos! Bar! Nop! Quipsic! There's house Bar! Bar! Taxi! Fast! Quipsic! Science! Ogres! Fast! Fast! Quill! Chaos! Quill! Ogres! Darker! Juice! Backside! Pause! A touch call! Costner! Quicker! Quill! Sentinels! Vader Fat! Nasha Wusra! Ark! Chaos! Cloven Ones! Fast! Burn! Vader Fat! Agam Sayin!
Oh, a little bit of lag.
Undoors! Bar! Chaos! Flip! Quill! Akash Ak! that! Fast! Uncles! Uncles! Circuit one!
GG's.
Thanks.
That is a rough matchup. And you can see here a lot of your Ungol spearheads. You know, most of them do pretty well, and I think also your Minotaurs, yeah, more. Look at that, much more
Yeah.
comfortably paid for themselves, and that's because they weren't. That's because they just were not getting thumped by my front line. You basically had what I had in my front line, but you were built more to deal with me than I was with you.
Yeah.
And numbers-wise, like your Ungol spearheads were going to beat my Noblars.
Yeah.
Your Minotaurs, are, could easily beat my Ogre Bulls.
Yeah, I think I fell into the trap of going too much on my unit testing, because obviously the great weapons beat everything 1-on-1 and sometimes even 1-on-2, but that doesn't matter when you can only take a couple and then the other has a very wide army.
No, it's still very good
Mm-hmm.
to do unit testing to know what wins
Yeah.
where, etc. But it's also recognizing,
The army as a whole.
yeah, that's a very one-dimensional view. But of course, to have a two-dimensional, three-dimensional view of the game, you need to understand each dimension individually.
Yeah.
So it's understanding, the very raw linear stats of this beats this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. What happens when you have this and this together? How does it go against this? So, for example, if I had one Ogre Ball, one Noblar against your Minotaurs, who wins on value? It's not actually who important who wins; it's who wins on value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm pretty sure, or it used to be, you could get 2 Ogre Balls and 2 Noblars for the same value. You can get 1 Minotaur. It's now not quite the same.
Ogre Bulls are 500, you said?
Yeah. So it used to be.
Then it's actually 2 Ogre Bulls and Noblars for 200. So, yeah, exactly 2 Ogre Bulls and a Noblar for 1 Minotaur with great weapons.
Yeah, now luckily it's it's now 2 Ogre Balls, 1 Noblar.
Yeah.
Which, it certainly makes a difference. But yeah, no, I thought you played that well. You kept the pressure on, you kept attacking the right things. Double Hunters, obviously, they're very strong. But, if you don't prepare for them, they can be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So you can certainly change it up a little bit.
I'm just going back and forth on my Minotaur's damage value. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good, and they're very, very strong in this matchup for sure. Yeah, it really does. It really does make it tough in this matchup. But yes, there's certainly some ways, or there's certainly some other ways to play this for sure.
Mm-hmm. Kind of thinking like, what if they bring like more shooting power? Because the two harpies weren't enough to kill the one lead belcher, and if they have like two or three, then
If I think about that statement, so if I bring more shooting power, what do I have less of?
yeah, of course, and I can get to them easier. Yeah.
Yeah, your harpies will hold off 2 lots of shooting power, and then you will just bully me with the rest of your build. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
no.
you'll get through, but once you've hit the front, like, you are so fast that once you hit the front line, I'm not going to get my return of value. Like,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, it's certainly a good way of thinking,
Mhm.
and I like that train of thinking. You know, what if, in this example, I think I'd have to do quite a lot
Mhm.
to beat that. I've got some money left over. I don't know what to do with it. Awesome. Okay, well, I've got a bit of a different build here.
Okay. Cool.
The nice thing about lead belchers is they're super cheap.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems you have with them is they can't defend themselves.
But yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. Reasonably
yeah.
fast.
They're fast, but they just can't defend themselves. Like if they get
No.
caught by harpies or centaurs, they're just dead.
Yeah.
They're big fat targets with small numbers and stuff, so never normally goes particularly well for them. Also, the nice thing about the Beastmen, because also you're talking about shooting, what do Beastmen have in abundance that can really negate the effects of mass range builds?
Well, mostly speed. You're usually on them very fast.
Speed and what other traits?
Uh,
That they have a lot of.
Stock? Vanguard deployment? I'm not sure what you're hitting.
Vanguard.
Okay,
Vanguard.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of... Together with the stat speed, it's getting onto them fast, I suppose.
Yeah, so like full range builds just, I mean, they just don't work in this area, right?
I probably won't ever see those if I have a smart opponent.
I've got one unit that's slightly against the curve, I think. But I'll be interested to see how it performs here.
Also, one other thing, like what I said on the match start, I didn't expect you to be there, like up on that hill. What are some ways that I can go about that? Because obviously I want to rush in first, but if I'm like either set up to the left and you're on the right, then I have to walk a whole lot. If I go in the middle, I also have to walk a lot if you're either left or right.
Yeah, so one of the problems could be, right, like if I do go like with a proper artillery piece, let's say I bring, an artillery piece, the big cannons they have, that can be a problem trying to predict. So that's why I don't know. You can't predict it really. I mean, logic would suggest that I'm going to be on the hill, if I can have the height and I can have the advantage, I'll take it. Like, for example, if you were playing a defensive faction, I would say you would spawn on your left side with that nice big juicy hill you have.
So of course it's always a gamble, but you would say odds are that players will want to pick that high ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fighting downhill even has benefits than in this game. It has benefits for me. Fighting without us, fighting downhill compared to you fighting uphill.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Ungors! Chaos bird! Cloverwood! Dark Island! Shayashak! Dark Island! Sentinels! Brashaiman! Ungors! Dark Witchling! Dahara Chaos! Death Chaos Death! Quilla! Ungors! Sentinels! Fast! Fast! Lapsai! Sayers back! Dark Beast! Bah! Dawakas! Dark Earth! Akash Ak! Lakshayak! Nasha Wushra! Ak! Dawak Az! Circles! Cosmos! Giants! Fagudat! Bah! No Kumba! Bah! Akash Ak! T-Rex! Bah! Dog Island! Slugs! Lakshayak! Laksayak! Brashaiman! Nab! Horse! Dog Island! Twira Chaos! Quipsack! Akash! Bah! Darkishik! Dawak! Laksai! Sentinel! Ashes Core! Blood! Quarata! Dagger 3! Quipsack! Dark Beasts! Ungors! Twi'lek! Sentinels! Bloods!
Alright.
Ungors! Sentinels! Ravka! Ungors! Akash! Kuraku! Ravka! Brashaiman! Ungors! Chaos Girth! Reaver Chaos!
GG's.
Thanks.
Tight game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think.
Right. Let's see. You still here? Oh.
But yeah, what do you think
Sorry.
about the what do you think about the powder guts?
Sorry, my internet connection was gone for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, the powder guts really lasted a long time, didn't they? They're very defensive.
When they're losing in combat, they get plus 24 melee attack, melee defense.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little bit poorly myself. I let you hop on my saber tusks a little bit too much,
Yeah,
and then
I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I was using some spells on the front, so we dropped it. But yeah, Man Eater Great Weapons did pretty well. I think they're really good alongside the Powder Guts. I think that's a strong way to go. And then with the Slaughtermaster, I went with Flock of Doom plus the Curse of Anrahir.
Okay.
Just to debuff the front line. Try and see if I can win that way.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on the match?
Oh, it looks like I have to join the lobby again. Yeah. Went well as like I expected, because, like you said, I did get on your saber tusk, but I did kind of prioritize that in the beginning, so. I was, because like the battle before, I was like, oh crap, I have my Centaurs all up in your main army, and now I see the saber tusk coming for my archers, and now I did it the other way. I was like, I have to protect my archers, so I'm gonna send the Centaurs into the saber tusks. And then I had a spare unit of Ogre Spearmen here and there to also put in there. So that went how I wanted it. And then it was just getting the Ogre Spearmen in places to get people stuck, and then trying to get the Minotaurs on high priority targets and looking for blobs for the Trader King.
That was good. I think now you probably understand most of what you need to understand this matchup.
Yeah.
I think, although your unit testing, of course, is great as always.
It's kind of a step one.
Yeah, exactly. The 2D dimension is also going, oh, I've also got really cheap Ungor spearheads that can go and fight, up against a unit of Ogre with Tilda. Let's test that quickly. So just bring a unit of regular spearmen with shields. I tell you what, bring one regular and then one regiment of renown.
Yeah, oh, I need to. I guess it's just something about those guys routing so early that I kind of dislike, but I really need to see them as fodder, not as pieces that will win the battle on their own.
It's like chess, right? You have pawns, you have...
Yeah, literally pawns. Yeah.
Yeah, pawns aren't always super useful, but there are certainly elements of the game where they are definitely needed. Like, for example, if you've got your butcher stuck in a position you don't like them in, you can certainly send in your Ungor Spearman.
Yeah.
You can send in that pawn as a bit of a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It
was also very telling in that one match. Like the first match that I lost, like how little value the Minotaurs with great weapons got, and then the second how much they got just because they got where I wanted them to.
Alright. Can he see you?
Yeah. Are you bringing in the Lord or keeping that back?
I'll keep the Lord back.
Yeah. I have the Regimen of Renown going to your right one and normal one to your left.
I don't know what my ogres are doing. They're trapped on a rock at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very, very, very CA. Sweet. So just charge at each other now.
Yeah.
So on the impact, I'm going to do loads of damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's super important for me to get the charge off.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I'm 100 gold more expensive than you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Oh, the destroys really do a whole lot better.
Yeah. Maybe it's worth seeing if you can fit the destroyers in there. I mean, that 47, that 17 melee defense is huge.
Yeah.
Because you don't get charge reflection, and you don't get... oh, no, maybe you get charge reflection, but you don't get charge defense as large, because the
half of it, right?
bash rate. You actually win. There we go.
Wow.
That poison and that melee defense really goes quite far. So, maybe if you can fit in a destroyer there, then... yeah, pretty good stuff.
Let's see, the ogre thing only halves the brace thingy.
Yeah.
So it still does something. But the normal Ogres didn't even kill one ogre pool.
Yeah, and that's what's important, right? When you get those models down, that's certainly what's important. Well, they're quite interestingly, they got the same value, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, your other unit was more expensive, so. But no, I think that's interesting. And then what you can do, that's like the one-dimensional level. And the next dimension, you go, okay, so the same value, you put 2 ogre balls, and it's really hard if you're doing it with somebody, but 2 ogre balls plus a unit of noblars, have those 3 fight against, something else, and then look at the layers of that.
Yeah.
The thing that didn't test was the Snowhorn of Morn. I didn't really see it particularly being that great.
No. I think that actually, that also loses one-on-one with the Minotaurs with great weapons, interestingly.
Yeah, it doesn't really offer much. I guess armor and missile resistance, but that doesn't really help to something that's anti-large and AP. So,
right. That also fun fact: one-on-one, the only thing the Minotaur with great weapons don't win against is those Regimen of Renown cavalry.
Oh, interesting.
But other than that, they beat everything one-on-one.
Even Slayers.
For the Ogre Kingdom.
No, we're joking. Yeah. They beat Manny to great weapons, do they? I'd be surprised if they beat Manny to great weapons.
I think they did.
Well, they might do. Yeah, they might do. Yeah, so the only final way you could play this is with an Iron Blaster. Iron Blaster could be quite tough for you to deal with. It's the only way that I haven't brought forward with this build today. An Iron Blaster or 2 really could cause a bit of a problem, especially if I decided to go more towards the back of the map and then decided to just shoot you with the Iron Blasters and take down your models before you get to the front line. How would that look? That is an answer maybe I don't have for you right now, but that is certainly something we can test. And then if you need to prepare for Iron Blasters, then you have elements in your build, like you have Centicores and stuff, but it will certainly make it more tough.
Yeah, what I usually do actually, what I didn't do in our last matches, is Vanguard the harpies all the way at the back for stuff like that.
Yeah, you can do that. Like put it in the corners and stuff can be quite useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that actually, yeah, I think this is very Beastmen favorite matchup, but I still think it's great to practice.
Yeah.
And hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight towards the matchup now.
Yeah, definitely.
So we just done. So next time it will be High Elves.
Yeah.
I think High Elves is going to be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
There's been lots of changes, lots and lots of changes, and a couple of changes that actually will be very interesting for the Beastmen in particular. Yeah, I think one or two of these things could be quite tough. Some of those changes. Be interesting to see what happens.
Also feels like a bit wider roster than the Ogre Kingdom, so harder to predict what they will bring.
Yes, that is one of the few limiting factors about yeah, that is one of the problems with Ogre Kingdoms, right? Is their one particular style of play,
Yeah.
and yeah, predictable, which is a bit of a problem. Right. Well, yeah, good stuff. I was just sat here thinking about next week. Yeah. So no, good stuff, man. I think I think the matchup for Ogres. I really think Ogres are really crap at the moment. I really think they're not very good. They got away with it in the beginning of Warhammer 3 because there was only 7 other factions, and they were carried by Iron Blasters alone.
Also the Gorgers, right? They were really...
Yeah. Gorges were nerfed within the first patch, though.
Yeah, they were nerfed really hard.
They were nerfed to a point of just being unusable. And even now, they suffer a lot. I mean, they've still only got 12 models. Like, it's so tough to use them. You can't even really justify it with Scrag, because I wouldn't even say Scrag is the best option either. It's really tough, actually.
Yeah, Scrag makes them better, but Scrag on his own isn't that very good.
No, you'd be better to have a Slaughtermaster, because Slaughtermaster heals himself, has good spells, debuffs. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, really, and most of their wins and magic outside of that is only the Fire Belly for Fire Magic, and I mean he's fine, I guess. Fire Magic's kind of a bit garbage these days, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just Ogres need some love.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the Stone Horn of Morn, as cool as it is, and the Sky Striders, as cool as they are. The only reason renown is the Powder Guards that's any good, and the rest of it just sucks. Like, they have no infantry. I mean, they shouldn't really anyway, but they have no infantry. Yeah, they kind of suck. Yeah, they got some things. They got individual elements about them that are good, but if you can deal with those, like which you can with the Beastmen pretty comfortably, there's just nothing you can do. But no, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Good practice. We'll be back with High Elves on
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright, dude. Well, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Cheers, dude.